this is one race and I wasn't going to be intimidated.
Oh, car run good today. It's a tough race.
It's a track where the car has to handle good, but it also has to run good.
We finally got the monkey off our back here. I don't know what to say. Woo!
You can't hold a sound.
This deserves a good old drink.
It's too close to call.
I guess they said I was the winner. I'd like to see the picture.
A fiery crash in turn one.
Car got a serious vibration, started hopping.
Joy has to stand up for himself at some point in time.
His wife wears a fire suit and the family tells him what to do, so it's probably not his fault.
NASCAR's been racing here since 1974. Which one of these young drivers could join them in the history books as far as winning at the Tricky Triangle? Let's go to pit road and Dave Burns.
Rick, you mentioned young drivers. Well, happy birthday and welcome to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Sam Mayer. He turned 18 yesterday, which means he's now eligible to run at larger tracks like Pocono. He came out of the scene when he was 15 years old, racing in NASCAR, raced for Junior Motorsports, and has worked his way up to this level. So happy to finally get here and make his debut, and this is not a one-time thing. He'll be in this car for every race for the remaining 2021 season of the Xfinity Series, except for one, and that's Dale Jr. at Richmond. So hope for Sam to have a good first time in the Xfinity car. Kelly?
Championship leader Austin Cindric is back in the pink and white number 22. Austin told me this paint scheme seems to bring checkers or wreckers. They won in Dover with it, crashed in Nashville, but he and crew chief Brian Wilson both feeling optimistic today. They told me they had a good car here a year ago, something they hope to build on. Their strength, being able to connect all three of the Tricky Triangle corners. But today, Austin Cindric's got a little bit of ground to make up early. He starts this one 13th, Rick.
And so Austin Cindric will be 13th. Harrison Burton and Justin Allgaier will make up row one. Let's get the engines fired. We go for the command.
And now, to deliver those most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Andrew Grigsby, Director of Information and Technology for J.P. Mascaro and Sons.
On behalf of J.P. Mascaro and Sons, let's all do our part in helping protect our environment for future generations. Please remember to recycle. Drivers, start your engines!
Yesterday, it was in the final turn on the last lap. Things changed dramatically. You got to watch every lap to find out who's going to win today in the Xfinity Series. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit gocreditone.com. And by Toyota.
The leader at Daytona is Ty Gibbs. Up off the corner. Checkered flag is in the air. It's Ty Gibbs win at Daytona.
Ty Gibbs with a comfortable margin now as he races out and down the backstretch. He's going to shock them today here in Charlotte. Ty Gibbs takes the Alsco Uniforms 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
From the back for the win.
Ty Gibbs back in the field, and a great crowd on hand to watch this one today, as it is a doubleheader. The Xfinity Series kicking it off here, and then the Cup Series will run their second race of the weekend a little bit later. Want to take a look at the starting grid. Mentioned Harrison Burton and Justin Allgaier. They're going to be starting up front. We saw yesterday controlling this race, very, very important. And depending upon what line you want to start in is also extremely important.
You see at the bottom there, Riley Hurst will be going to the back for unapproved adjustments. Row 7, defending champ Cindric, Ty Gibbs. Back a little bit more, Myatt Snyder inside row 10, already with a win this season.
Sam Mayer will be on his outside. We'll go back a little further, Ryan Vargas. How about Ferrucci, the IndyCar driver that will be back there in row 13?
I'm excited to see him back in the stock car. I got to see him at the Indy 500. The closed fenders today. We see Jesse Lucci takes over the 74 to the rear. Jeffrey Earnhardt back in row 19.
All right, let's dial up Justin Allgaier on the radio.
Hey, Justin, it's Jeff Burton. You with us?
Yeah, buddy, go ahead.
Well, man, you're coming off 2 runner-up finishes. Can today be the day you get in victory lane?
Oh, man, I don't know. Obviously, huge testament to our guys, to bring great race cars these last few weeks. Even before, the last 2 second-place finishes, we've had killer Camaros. So hats off to all the guys in Junior Motorsports. I love this place. Pocono's always been a fun racetrack, really cool place. We got a beautiful Hellman Chevy, so, we just got to go out there, do our job all day, execute like we have been, and we'll be in good position. I don't know if we can pull it out today, but we're going to do our best to make sure we get there. And finishing second twice in a row has been kind of disappointing.
Justin, this is part of a doubleheader. Cup cars ran yesterday and run again today. Tell the fans how different this Xfinity car is to the Cup cars.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, obviously, horsepower is probably the biggest difference maker, but the aerodynamics, we have a lot less downforce than the Cup Series cars do, and that just means you slip and slide a lot more. I think that it's going to promote some passing that maybe those guys struggled with yesterday, but it's going to make these cars difficult to drive. They're going to be a handful. So, we gotta work on the car all day. Without qualifying or practice, you never know if you're going to hit it right off the truck. And our team's done a great job of that. But if you're good, you got to keep up with the racetrack. If you're not good, you got to make good adjustments to make your car better. So we'll do all we can, and we'll go out there and hopefully put on a good show for the fans watching at home. All these fans that are here at the racetrack. It's so nice seeing so many fans back here at the racetrack. So we want to do our best to put on a good show for them.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Good luck today. See that Hellman's car, but glad to be riding along with Justin today.
And a few more reports before the green flag flies. We'll go back down and chat with Dave.
How about that pole sitter Harrison Burton? The metric that put the lineup together today was based largely off of last week's finish, and a strong finish of 3rd at the Nashville Superspeedway helped Harrison to the first spot here. They'll try to keep it out front all day long, according to crew chief Jason Ratcliffe. But that'll be a little bit funny story next week because they failed tech twice today, and so I'm told that they will be losing their pit stall selection next week. So the only black mark on their day today so far as they start up front, Kelly, and hope they stay there.
Daniel Hamrick, driver of that orange number 18 car, will be providing us views from the Toyota onboard camera. He's still looking for his first career Xfinity Series win after 8 runner-up finishes, and Pocono might be just the place to get it done. He said he has a lot of confidence coming to this track, and he told me he really enjoys racing here, especially with these lower downforce Xfinity Series cars. He and crew chief Dave Rogers have really focused on the exit of turn 1. Well, they say a lot of their competitors are focused on turn 3. They think that will be the key to setting up passes here today. In terms of strategy, they've got a couple of different options ready to go, depending on tire wear and how these cautions fall here at Pocono today.
Well, Steve Kelly just mentioned strategy. Obviously, we need to know the numbers, the race breakdown for today's race.
It's a unique racetrack, one of my favorite racetracks because of the challenges, and it starts with just the shape. It's a triangle. 2.5 miles, 14 degrees in turn 1, the most heavily banked corner. Then you go down to the 90-degree turn, 8 degrees of banking in the tunnel, pretty good bumps over the tunnel there. And then a long sweeping 6-degree turn 3 leads to over 3,700 feet of front stretch, the longest in NASCAR, 90 laps, 20 laps for both stage 1 and stage 2, 50-lap final stage. It can run maybe just shy of 40 laps on fuel, and that will come into play. I mean, this has always been a track position race, so you got to figure out a great strategy and stretch that fuel.
Drivers yesterday, we saw the choose area become very important. As a matter of fact, probably won Alex Bowman the race. What do you think the preferred line for starts? Is it the outside line or inside line?
Well, the control cars typically picked the outside line. You have the PJ1 down in turn 1 for a little extra grip and momentum and speed to exit that corner. You can also box in the guy behind you to force him to push you. If you're on the inside and you're the control car, you're allowing guys the opportunity to take you 3 wide. You're on the defense when guys get runs on you. So I like the choice, if I'm the control car, to take that outside line.
Yeah, I think one thing that's going to be a big difference today from yesterday, and you heard Justin Allgaier talking about it, these cars make a lot less downforce than what we saw yesterday and we're going to see later today. So you get a car on the outside of you, down in turn one, they're going to be trying to pull the air off of you. You can make the car very loose through there. So I think that outside line is going to be the way to go on the restarts as well. But somebody's going to have to gamble and take the bottom. You know, you can't just keep going to the top. And we saw, you mentioned it, Rick, that's a big part of what won that race yesterday is making the decision to go to the bottom. So a little bit of gambling with that choose line. It's going to be fun to watch to see who does what.
All right, Steve, the playoff standings, as we're looking toward the playoffs and everyone's trying to fight for a position to get in there. So far, only 5 drivers have locked themselves in with wins. That leaves quite a few spots still available.
Yeah, there are more drivers that have won, but they're not full-time Xfinity drivers, so not eligible for points. These are the drivers that have said, hey, we're going to run the whole season. We're going to try to accumulate points in this series, and those are the 5 that have won. You see Hamrick solidly on points, Harrison Burton. I really think the story is you look down, Annette, Clements, Brown, Herbst. I think that battle's going to tighten up as we head to some of the road courses later in the summer. And it really starts here. You know, the playoffs are out there. They're in front of you. I mean, Jeremy Clements has won at a road course before. So, you know, 48 points seems like a lot. But if Brandon Brown can have a good run, take that 48 and get it down into, you know, 30, 25 points as the summer continues, he can find himself into the playoffs.
This is a big weekend for a guy like Herbst. I mean, he needs to be gaining points to put himself into the playoffs. This team won here last year, so I think he needs to start hitting that panic button about this point in the season.
An unfortunate beginning to the race. It looks like it might be over for the 66 of David Starr. So the Houston, Texas native not able to even get to the green flag here today.
Yeah, we've become accustomed to not having practice, right? It's just become the new normal, so to speak. But things like this, had you had practice, he would have figured out they had that problem yesterday. And then also, you talked about these young guys all getting ready to fire off here at Pocono. You're hauling the mail in turn one. You know, you're going to have to hit your marks. You're going to have to be spot on, and you're going to have to do it right now. And that's why this no practice at a track like this, I just think is so challenging.
We have seen 2, 3, 4, 5 wide down the front stretch entering turn number 1. So that's a decision that a lot of drivers are going to have to make. Just how aggressive do you get on the first turn of the first lap here at Pocono? Harrison Burton, Justin Allgaier go up through the gears. We're underway from Pocono. Already a little sliding going on up front. And that's the amazing thing that NASCAR's asking these drivers. As you mentioned, no practice, no qualifying. They went into turn number 1.
19 Jones really wide there in the tunnel, loses a bunch of spots.
Going into these turns wide open, trying to get a feel for it. And right there, Brandon Jones, he got a feel that he didn't like at all.
I think he turned and had a free loose sensation before he got to the tunnel. Was scared to turn the wheel left and just drove the car through the high side. Lost a lot of time getting off the throttle. You see Harrison Burton trying to break the draft. You said yesterday, Jeff Burton, that you didn't know much about that or why guys did that. Well, there's your boy. He's apparently watched some film and thinks that's important.
Can he pull away? As we see the 54. Again, Ty Gibbs trying to move up, trying to get by Brandon Jones.
See Austin Cindric, he's trying to fill that hole, keep Ty Gibbs trapped on the bottom. You know, historically speaking, you wanted to be on the bottom end of the tunnel, but with that traction compound applied to it, you can run through there in that second lane.
We'll see guys use that apron a little bit in the tunnel turn. You have to be careful with that, though. The low air pressures on these tires, this particular this early in the run with a sticker tire, low air pressure. Taking that thing through the bumps is tough enough, but hitting into that, bouncing into that apron can damage that tire. Cindric, oh, a lot of contact right there between Ty Gibbs. We talked about it at the top of the show. He's not afraid to put the bumper to these guys.
Yeah, remember, he put the bumper to Cindric at Dover, had Cindric all but wrecked. Cindric saved it after the race. Cindric made a comment about it. He was not happy. You see Cindric losing some momentum trying to get by Brandon Jones, and then they just all get stacked up.
Brandon struggling a little bit right here. This is him trying to get down in the tunnel. He just never turns left because the car feels like it's really loose, and he thinks if I turn the wheel, I'm going to spin out. It's a freaky feeling, scary feeling going through that tunnel.
I mean, one of the most difficult corners in NASCAR. High speed, 90 degrees. It looks pretty straightforward, but anything but what you're asked to do going through this.
Yep, sideways right there. You're right, Steve. Very, very difficult corner. And it's right over the tunnel. It gets worse and worse as far as the bumps at that particular point of the racetrack. And these guys, like you say, don't get any practice. They don't know how their cars are going to go through there when they go in there the first time. How's the front going to handle the bumps? Is it going to pound into the splitter, bounce up the racetrack? They don't know. Whatever issues they're facing or dealing with, they can't really resolve throughout this race. They have to put up with that the entire day.
All right, Rick, are we going to take the fans on our rental car ride this morning? Our conversation about Daniel Hamrick, right? When is the day? Is it today? Can this be the track that Daniel Hamrick breaks through on? As we go on board, you see the bumps, man, his head's shaking in the tunnel, but so many, second place finishes that you have to go to victory lane in any of the top 3 series. Can Hamrick get to victory lane today?
As you look at this windshield, one thing you can see is that white car out front getting bigger. They're starting to run Harrison Burton down this last lap. Gained about 2/10 on him. Watch Daniel Hamrick. What does he choose to do right here, entering turn 1? Can he try to find a way underneath?
The car hitting the ground a little bit. Yeah. Using the gas, trying to create a run to get up on the inside of that 7 car.
Just couldn't commit to the throttle. You could hear the on and off throttle from him.
Watch his head here.
I got it.
Golly. Lap after lap after lap going through there. Kelly.
There's a reason they call this place the Tricky Triangle, with 3 completely different turns around this racetrack. And in talking with Daniel Hamrick, as I alluded to just before the race, they really feel like it's turn 1 that they needed a good race car, especially on exit. And a moment ago, his spotter, Tony Hirschman, kind of talking him through how to make a good pass there. Have a listen.
Yeah, it's hard. If you can't clear the guy by like the 5/8, almost 7/8 point of 1 there, it's hard to finish it on exit with the mo from the juice.
Valuable to have a guy like Tony Hirschman, who just spotted for Kyle Busch yesterday, looking over the top and kind of knows what that sticky stuff, that juice, is going to do.
Telling you, if he's getting these great runs down the front straightaway, I'd drive in on the back bumper of that 7 car into the PJ1. Take the air, the little air, what is on the back of that spoiler, away from the 7, make him chase this car up the racetrack, get out of the gas.
And by looking, if I was Daniel Hamrick, I'd be looking at the back of that 7 car. He looks loose to me. I see the back of the car waving around a little bit. That's
he
the
radioed
sign.
in.
Do this
He radioed
right
in, guys. Very, very loose. He says,
Yep.
I have 0 commitment back to the throttle. You saw it right there.
That was the exactly right thing to do. Just put that front bumper on the rear bumper. Don't even touch it. Just pull that air away.
Pass for second. Hamrick trying to complete it before he gets down to 1. He will.
Another thing I noticed as we rode on board with Hamrick through turn 1 last time is a downshift. We don't see any shifting out of the Cup Series. No shifting really allowed. The ratios here in the Xfinity Series, it's not as easy as it once was, but they do have that opportunity, Dave. They can reach down, drop it down in the 3rd gear in turn 1, perhaps even in turn 3.
Hey guys, you see on the bottom of the screen there, Riley Herbst in the Black Monster Energy 98, all the way up to 22nd position from the back of the field. Just talked to the crew. They had a power steering pump that was not operational before the start of the race. They had to replace that. That's an unapproved adjustment, sent him to the rear. He's making up time.
Riley Herbst trying to get the ship righted on 2021. It hasn't been going the way he has wanted. Out front, though, it's Harrison Burton. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers with high-definition in-car cameras. All you have to do is visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app today. Go from the helmet cam to high above this 2.5-mile racetrack in a fight for the lead. Aerial coverage brought to you by Geico, as we see Daniel Hamrick has closed the gap now on Harrison Burton.
Looks like Harrison's giving. Oh, got a crash.
Into the walls, the 92 of Josh Williams. And the caution comes out.
Down in turn 1.
Josh was running 21st at the time when he backed it into the wall.
26 just cleared up once he got in front of me.
Talking about the 26 car, Ferrucci. Oh, he's hung up now, high-sided it on the apron. rear fuel cell down on the ground.
So with the caution coming out just about halfway through this first stage, take a look at how this took place.
It's down the front straightaway. Ferrucci's on the inside there, and my goodness. Yeah, I don't really know. I didn't see that again, but kind of came together. I don't think one guy was at fault versus the other, but Ferrucci came up a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like to me that Josh thought that Ferrucci was going to turn, left
to the bottom,
to the corner. It's quicker than he did.
Yeah.
See right here, Ferrucci's not turning yet. Josh assumed he was going to be turning.
Guys, we got to remember it's Santino Ferrucci only making his 5th Xfinity Series start. An IndyCar driver, probably by trait, would be where he's best well known. We saw him at the Indy 500 this year. We saw him earlier in the Xfinity Series. He actually has an IndyCar start here at Pocono, so he's been to this facility. Much different IndyCar to stock car. So between the two of them, as you guys pointed out, I don't think it was any ill intent, but definitely a different corner.
Hey, Steve.
Angle. Yes, sir.
Talked to Ferrucci just before he got in the race car, and he talked about that one IndyCar start here. I said, what's the difference in lap speed? He goes 20 seconds. He said, I have to treat this Xfinity car just a little bit differently than the 700 horsepower IndyCar.
Yeah, and he improved his toughness. He had a huge accident in Indianapolis. I'm gigantic, and had a little bit of a limp afterwards. Let's listen into the 26.
Man, I thought we were about to hit the wall. I have no idea what the hell happened. 10-4, they're showing us on TV. Looks like everything's okay from what I can see. Oh, yeah, he about wrecked the hell out of us.
See, I figured that both guys probably thought the other one was at fault there, and it's just a different opinion on what kind of arc we're going to take into the corner. And Ferrucci had his opinion, and unfortunately.
As a driver, should Williams have got on the brakes there or let him up? Because he knew Ferrucci was coming up.
Well, he didn't know he's coming up. He didn't know what line he's going to take into the corner. We got some cars coming to pit road. Dave.
That includes the 8 of Sam Mayer making his first Xfinity Series start. Just a little bit of a strategy play here. They'll take all 4 Goodyear tires. They'll fill it up with Sunoco fuel. That will give them options going forward.
So a few takers on pit road. You see them working their way back out onto the track. Harrison Burton, Daniel Hamrick. Those two had a pretty good battle going. We'll see the restart when we come back. Celebrate Independence Day on NBC with some great road course racing. IndyCar will be at Mid-Ohio, and then NASCAR at Road America. Again, that's July 4th. Coverage beginning at noon on NBC. And Steve, talking about the IndyCar and NASCAR, Ferrucci running in the IndyCar as well as NASCAR. You saw something crazy at practice at Indy this year.
Yeah, I got to experience Indy 500 for the first time in person, and in practice, Santino Ferrucci with a absolutely gigantic impact. Look at this huge impact. That's turn 2 exiting, and as you watch him get out of the car limping, I had heard that perhaps the leg was fractured. Talk about tough, though. That was a day before this. Gets back in the car, jumps in, 230 mile an hour average. You see the excitement, the hugs all around, congratulating his team all the way up and down. Ray Hall, Letterman driver. I mean, it was an impressive move. And Santino is, look, he's a fiery driver, 23 years old, out of Connecticut. Not without controversy. Had some bumps in the road early in his driving career. He's trying to make amends for some of those issues. He's found a home both in IndyCar and crossover to NASCAR. I love when I see a race car driver run multiple disciplines, but it doesn't come without a challenge as drivers. And I think that's a little bit what we saw in turn 1, right? Just 5 starts in this car, kind of figuring out the difference.
I saw, Josh Berry, one of the junior motorsports drivers, had an accident with Ferrucci at Phoenix. And I'm like, you got to realize, Josh was upset with him, but I'm like, you got to realize this guy comes from a totally different discipline, and he has a whole different idea of how to run that corner than you do, and what racing side by side is, and who needs to lift and give, right? Every driver on the track, even in the stock car, has different opinions on what blocking is, what good blocks or bad blocks, and all that stuff. So you got to learn from these guys on how to race them and how to race around them, what to expect.
How did Josh take that conversation?
He's still, I didn't change his mind.
For more on Daniel Hamrick, who's running second right now, let's go to Kelly.
And Rick, when you talk to Daniel Hamrick and ask him what some of his greatest strengths are, he'll point to his crew chief, Dave Rogers. One of the things he says Dave is so great at is instilling confidence back in this driver, and he did just that moments ago over the radio.
You're going to drive by him, so play to your strengths right here. Play to your strengths. Hey, you're quite a bit better than him, bud, so I don't think you have to worry about getting tricky here. You know what I mean?
And Dave Rogers showing just how much confidence he has in his driver. He told me he is a super talented guy. His feedback in the race car is unbelievable. Second to no one he's ever worked with, and he's worked with some of the all-time greats.
Yeah, I thought that was really good information coming from Dave Rogers. Look, you're faster, right? Like, just do the small things right. You don't have to pull any tricks. You don't have to do anything special. Just go running down a little bit at a time and then just make the move. You don't have to play any games to get by. Just a lot of confidence. I like the information.
Where do you line up? Do you take the inside line?
I don't think so. I mean, if you're
second.
Well, wait, they're teammates.
I know.
So,
that's
okay,
what I'm saying.
I know. So Harrison's going to take the outside line, and if I'm his teammate, I'm going to line up behind him. I'm going to make the choice to at least push him down the front straightaway, maybe clear both of us off of turn one, and then we get back to racing.
You're so nice up here. Wasn't like that out there.
You weren't never my teammate. Missing out, man.
They'll make the decision in just a moment, and we'll be back for the restart from Pocono. And drivers getting ready to choose which line they're going to restart in. Looks like Justin Allgaier will be on the front row. He was third, but because Daniel Hamrick decided to start behind teammate Harrison Burton, they chose the outside line. Again, a lot of fluid was put down on the track. That's why it's taken so long to get back to restart here.
And we talk about the preferred line. Well, Austin Cindric was 5th in line. He took the outside and is going to restart 8th on the outside because he wanted that outside so badly he gave up 3 positions.
And Noah was running 6th. He went to the inside, picked up 2 positions. Now he's going to restart 3rd.
And we know we're only going to have a 3-lap sprint to the end of stage 1. So interesting, right? We saw cars come to pit road. Michael Annett, Brandon Jones no longer up towards the front. They're all the way back there, 21st and 22nd. So as you see on the left-hand side, I love this graphic, right? The up and down. I mean, Noah +3 just by the choose. So a lot of, I call them free positions as long as you get through turn 1 well. Dave.
I was noticing Allgaier +1. He radioed in. We're in agreement on what we did, but it's just hard to make that choice when you know the outside line. And he has that free race car, remember. That's that yellow 7. And on the outside of him, the 20 of Harrison Burton, who's led all the laps so far today. How hard will he charge to get his 2nd stage win of the season? Remember, has not won a race yet this year. Don't have to tell you that, Jeff, of course. But got 1 stage win only and that 1 playoff point. So you want to try for a 2nd one here.
So we're not the only ones talking about the choose. Let's listen into the radio of the 16 in Allmendinger.
With your permission, I would rather start 3rd row, top side, if we cannot get to the front row. Copy that. I just want to try it and see, just so that we can judge it for later. This is a good time to try it.
Well, I would say the 22 puts the 7-3 wide is what happens when it.
So a lot of conversation where people are going to start. That sounded like crew chief to team manager Chris Rice. And he's looking later in the race. That's why he's like, hey, let's try it now and see how it works out.
Let's see how that 2nd row helps out the front row as we get ready for the restart. As you mentioned, there'll be 3 laps to go.
Allgaier with a great launch.
Noah was no help, though. No push down the front stretch.
Hamrick able to push that 20 of Harrison Burton, but he doesn't quite clear the 7 as far as taking the lead.
And Allgaier had a great exit off of turn 1. Now they go side by side into the tunnel. Harrison shifted down in there, hoping it sticks.
And that top line is going to prevail now as we see Harrison Burton out front, and Hamrick will take 2nd.
One of the frustrating things about Pocono is not only how you get through the corner, but where does the help come? I really believe Harrison got a good push from Hamrick in the 18. It looked like it with top speed is a big slide. Was that, I think, Allmendinger in the 16?
Looks like it could have been Allmendinger, maybe just catching that right rear quarter panel. And now just 2 laps to go.
Oh, Cindric drove it down in the corner. Wow, there's no way he can stay the bottom. Well, didn't even care to.
Look how loose he gets. The 16 car gets right up on that back bumper.
And he was thinking crossover, and there was the 54 was underneath him.
Here comes Ty Gibbs in the 54.
Yeah, Gibbs was in the right place at the right time on that one, taking advantage of that move by Cindric.
Oh, big move, big loose, I think, by the 11.
You can almost see the backfire off the pipes.
It's going to let Jeb Burton and Josh Berry by.
How about Josh Berry? Started deep in the field, all the way to 9th.
It's a great story, getting an opportunity to drive some more Xfinity. That's such a great start. Junior Motorsports equipment. There he is right there. Sorry, Rick, I was going to say that black and red, number 31.
There's Josh on the final lap.
AJ trying to exit turn 3. Dust off the right side of that car a little bit.
Harrison Burton has about a car length over Daniel Hamrick as they get ready for this final turn of stage 1.
Harrison missed his mark
he did
right there. Didn't get it to the bottom. That's going to give Hamrick a run.
He's able to still get off of the tunnel pretty decent. What does Hamrick do down here? To the inside? I don't think he can make the pass down there. Harrison wisely takes the more defensive line. You see him downshift there. Lots of RPMs. Wow. Screaming off of turn 3.
And to the line, Harrison Burton gets a stage 1 win. Daniel Hamrick, Justin Allgaier, Austin Cindric, and AJ Allmendinger the top 5. Second stage win of the year for Harrison Burton. Stage 1 winner has gone on to win 3 of the 4 here with stage racing. Can Harrison Burton get his first win of 2021? NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit GoCreditOne.com. And by Ford. Build Ford proud. Pit road is open. We saw the 21st through the rest of the field had not come to pit road, and now we're seeing a little pit strategy playing out here as well. A couple cars staying out. Dave.
That includes Justin Allgaier, who finished 3rd in that stage. This is the guy who won that stage and will carry that playoff point in pocket. Harrison Burton said the car is just a little too tight still, especially on entry to the corner, so they'll make an adjustment for that, Kelly.
Daniel Hamrick, driver of the number 18, started the race a little bit on the tight side. Then once the tire pressures came up, it got looser, and by the end of that run, he was a little bit loose into the corners, but he said not too bad. Meanwhile, Austin Cindric, driver of the 22, said he just got a little bit tighter with that heat cycle on his tires.
Getting ready for the start of stage 2 from Pocono, and a little pit strategy. Allgaier stays out. Getting ready to start stage 2 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Pocono Green 225 from Pocono Raceway. Justin Allgaier stayed out. That paint scheme, it's the make, taste, not waste paint scheme. Something surprised me. Approximately 40% of food waste happens in the home. So Hellman's is encouraging folks to be more resourceful by using the ingredients and food we already have in our fridges and pantries so that less food is wasted. You can visit Hellmans.com for easy tips and recipes. And maybe Burdett was thinking about a tip of what he's going to do as far as the strategy here.
Well, you know, one thing we love about Pocono, so many different options. Allgaier stays on the racetrack, saving that track position. I'm thinking with all the yellows we've already seen, Dave, this 7's going to try to stretch it either to right before the end of stage 2 or maybe try to run all the way to the end of stage 2 and get another stage win.
First of all, coming up on 1 p.m. Eastern time, Hellmans is making me hungry. Okay, just want to let that be known. Did check with Jason Burdett. He said, yep, we are going to make it to the end of stage 2. And then with a chuckle, he said, but it's going to be close.
Well, see how much fuel Allgaier saved under the yellows. I'd like something a little different. We'll see how it works out.
I love the look of these grandstands here at Pocono. The fans filing in. And back underway as Hellmans and Allgaier rocketing to turn 1.
Well, Myatt Snyder in that bright red number 2. Like, man, not so fast. Got all the way to his door, but I think the 7's going to have the preferred lane there. 3 wide behind him.
Yeah, 3 wide for that 3rd spot.
Oh, stand there in the fence. Oh, there's a big crash here. Hard contact.
To the inside.
Back in front of the cars.
Oh. And hit again. Haley with a hard hit on the inside wall and then right back out in front of traffic. And another car tagged him.
Ryan Vargas, I believe. Oh, man, it's good to see that. Those are some really, really hard shots Justin took to the inside wall. You can see.
He's laying on the ground beside us.
AMR safety team right there to attend to Haley. Big hit taken by Justin Haley as he was coming out of turn 1. Got to turn around into the inside wall. We see
Ryan Vargas here. Had nowhere to go as the car of Justin Haley come back across the track in front of traffic. So many guys did such an amazing job to miss the 11 car. Not everybody got through.
He sat back up. There's been so many hard hits at this racetrack throughout the years. And there's another one. You see Haley walking to the ambulance. He'll go to the infield care center to get checked out.
Let's take a look at the replay. Sam Mayer's on the outside of Justin as they're coming off of turn 1. Justin's coming up the racetrack. I think Sam's got to recognize this and maybe come up out of the gas, but he just stays committed on the outside of the 11 car. They make contact right there. It puts both of them in the fence. Burton way down low trying to miss the 11. This is when it gets very, very scary. All these guys doing an amazing job. Jesse in the 74 doing an amazing job, but Ryan had nowhere to go. It's pretty incredible that more cars didn't get taken out in this wreck. So it looks like Sam may have turned the 11 back across the racetrack there as they were trying to gather both their cars up.
You see right here, he's on the outside of Haley and just not wanting to give that spot up. Haley needed to stay down. They could have both avoided that. And then it's all, you know, I'm like you. I think everybody behind him did an incredible job. Just nothing they could do different at this point. Now he's up the racetrack, and unfortunately there's Vargas and gets into him. And real speed, things happen quickly.
What's Jesse Awuji right here?
That Kyle Weatherman move in that 40.
Sorry, Kyle Weatherman.
Yeah, what a move to turn left. That was, you know, Ryan Vargas obviously unlucky just to know where to go, but Kyle Weatherman takes a hard left-hand corner turn and misses the 11. Justin Haley, you know, supposed to run the Cup race later today. We talk about a doubleheader. It's a lot of work up and down pit road, a lot of work for the drivers. We'll have to see how everything is. Obviously a huge hit for the 11.
So Justin Haley will get checked out at the infield care center, and they'll clean up, and we'll get ready for a restart from Pocono when we come back. Track under a red flag after the big accident by Justin Haley. Sam Mayer involved, as well as Ryan Vargas, and so cleaning up the track. Cars parked right now just to the entrance to turn number 1. Want to take another look at this. We're going to take it from the helicopter vantage point.
I want you to look at the 20-car Harris Burton here and him seeing what's happening before it's actually happening. Watch him move down the racetrack. going away. If he doesn't move, I think that he runs into 11 and gets collected somehow, some way. It's amazing what these drivers can sense in those moments. They do this so often. There's so much preparation, so much sim work, and they just can visualize these accidents playing out in front of them.
That's what's amazing to me. This isn't spotter information. This isn't out the windshield. This is really peripheral, and they can feel, as silly as it sounds, like arm's length around their car. They know the stuff that's happening. He can feel that coming down the racetrack, because I completely agree with you, Junior. If he doesn't take a little bit of maneuvering before that wreck happens, there's just not enough space left, and he's going to be right in the door of the 11.
NASCAR about to fire the engines back up on these cars as the cleanup continues for Pocono. We'll be back for the restart right after this. And immediately after today's Xfinity Series race, it's NASCAR American Pre-Race. Then countdown to Green and Cup race number 2. And Alex Bowman go back-to-back, or will Kyle Larson go from the back to the front? How about Kyle Busch? He had a good run. Again, that's the second Cup race, 3:30. And then the IMSA race from Watkins Glen. Jimmy Johnson actually running in that one. And that's at 7 o'clock. You won't want to miss it. And Dave has caught up with Ryan Vargas.
Vargas, of course, in the red car that had nowhere to go and T-boned Justin Haley. You and I have talked before this race. There's a couple things on your mind today. First of all, how are you feeling?
I'm fine. I just had nowhere to go. I feel awful for this team. It's been a tough start to the year, and it's been a really good rebound recently. I hate that we wrecked with Lear on the hood. I miss him a lot. And I just hate disappointing, and I feel like I did that today. So, yeah. Thank you.
Ryan's going to bounce back. When I talked to Ryan before the race, their former car chief, Brian Lear, passed away recently, and he was from Xfinity, Pennsylvania, just an hour to the west of here, so this would have been his home race. And as I talked to the crew members, there were several that said, I wouldn't be where I am today without Brian. We miss him a ton. And this was the last car he worked on before he passed away, and so Ryan really wanted to bring it home in better shape than this, guys.
Yeah, difficult situation. You saw the emotion there out of Ryan, and that's just what these guys, you know, they put it all out there. Every driver that's in these cars, they're wanting to win. They want to make everyone proud that not only put the cars together, but the sponsors that are on there, and it's a tough situation for them.
When you see how tight-knit the team becomes, right? Especially in these smaller teams, everyone knows everyone. Everyone works next to everyone. I mean, it's late nights, early mornings, travel. You get to, it becomes your family.
Ryan is a great kid that wants this really badly. He's working really hard to try to make his opportunities. I went and speak to a driver, speak to a group of young drivers a couple years ago. He walks up, introduced himself. He said, tell me what I can do to better myself. He exhausts every avenue, I think, to try to give himself as many opportunities as he can and prepare himself and network. So tough to see that happen to him today, but he'll rebound.
There's nothing he probably could have done different in that situation. But at the same time, I won't, that team does not have the funding of some of the other teams they race with. That doesn't mean they don't work hard. If anything, they work harder. And I don't think we all give enough respect for those teams and the crew members on those teams. They put a tremendous amount of effort to bring the best equipment they can, and it's competitive. It's not necessarily competitive for the win, but it's competitive for every position they can get.
Let's look ahead to strategy and get back to the race, Rick. 13 to go in stage 2. We heard a report from Dave earlier about Justin Allgaier, who stayed on the racetrack, who would have been close on fuel to make it to the second stage. This extra little bit of yellow right here, as you listen, I mean, very little RPM, right? He's not touching the gas, probably running in third or fourth gear, long gears, saving gas. This should help him work into whatever fuel window the crew chief Jason Burnett needed to make the strategy work.
Well, I'm interested because typically when you're saving fuel, you cut the motor off, you coast, and wonder, I guess they don't know or feel like they're that close.
Well, that and doubled up, I just don't think he had, I think NASCAR has been really on top of these guys about not maintaining speed, being doubled up, and I'm maybe worried about losing a position.
So it'll be Myatt Snyder that's going to restart on the inside. Myatt had a great restart last time.
Now remember Sam Mayer in that 8 car on the inside, he smacked the fence. Like that car hit the wall pretty hard. We'll have to see if he has any issues when he gets going back up to speed.
You can see right here what everybody did. See Myatt, he went ahead and went to the bottom. He broke even. Sam Mayer picked up 2 spots because Harrison Burton, he decided to go the outside lane. He was in 4th. He decided to go the outside lane, and that let Brandon Jones move up. He gained 3 spots to start on the bottom.
We'll see if it pays off as we go back to green, and we'll have just 12 to go in stage 2. Again, Justin Allgaier hasn't been to pit road yet. The only car out there that is on that strategy. We'll see if it pays off as they come back to the green flag. Back to racing.
Great acceleration by the 7 of Allgaier will give him both lanes to choose from heading into turn 1.
And Hamrick also with a great restart. He's going to clear the 2 of Myatt Snyder. He'll hold on to 2nd. Here comes Harrison Burton making that choice. Pay off, and a little smoke behind.
A little bit of contact, I believe. Got some tire smoke back there between 2 cars. Ty Gibbs, one of those cars on the inside. 68.
Brett Moffitt in the 02 on the far inside.
Josh Berry now to the inside of Brown on that 68 car down into turn 3. Jeremy Clements coming through on the inside as well. It's going to be tough up off of the bottom of turn 3 to make that pass. Back up front.
Austin Cindric moves way down the racetrack. Make sure no one is drafting off of him or no one tries to side draft him.
See a battle for the lead. Hamrick still working the bottom of the racetrack. Allgaier with that nice run on corner exit.
I just don't know how Allgaier can keep the pace with those older tires.
And unfortunately for Allgaier, with the 2 teammates behind him, if the 20 and the 18 work a little bit together and the 20 gives that 18 that push, I think they can find the momentum to try to get next, side by side with the 7, maybe get a little side draft.
We talked about the tires. Yesterday, tires didn't seem to matter that much. Two tires. Well, actually did win the race.
A lot less downforce today, though, Jeff.
That's
and I don't know if that, makes a bigger difference.
Fair point.
Ty Gibbs now to the inside of Sam Mayer down the front straightaway. These 2 guys, apparently, Jeff, you said they had a bit of a rivalry, running each other hard down into turn 1 here.
These guys in the ARCA series have gone at it. Look at Ty, he just drives, chips it down in there, and just says, I'm taking a spot. I don't care that you're there.
It's Jeb Burton in the 10. Just fell another spot back as Ty Gibbs aggressively headed toward the front. Here comes Noah Gregson in the 9 as well. He looks to the inside of the 19, Brandon Jones.
Brandon fighting hard, though, through the tunnel. We don't see many cars hanging on the outside of that tunnel, but Brandon does a good job, brings his teammate Ty Gibbs with him.
What a run the 54 had there. Ty Gibbs right up to the back bumper of the 19, gave him a little shove as now Hamrick, he's gotten to the back bumper of Justin Allgaier. What can he do with it?
It's like a replay of the finish of the Cup race yesterday, the battle for the lead. Hamrick is right there. He's just trying to find a way to carry momentum. He can get to the rear bumper of Allgaier right here down into turn 1. See Hamrick loses a little bit of turn in the center, probably in the dirty air of the 7. Now he's going to come off the corner and use the draft. I assume that 18 should pull up to the rear bumper again, but not in time to make a pass.
And no downshift on the 7 car right there on these old tires. 22, 24 laps on these tires.
As you mentioned, as we go through the tunnel, the downshift you would expect in turn 1 and or turn 3. We'll listen in here, see if we hear a shift in turn 3.
Nope.
Interesting.
Here comes the 18. Can he take advantage of the momentum coming off this turn?
Oh, he's got a good side draft now.
Hamrick all the way to the apron, trying to stay away from Allgaier as they go to 1, and he completes the pass. Hamrick out front. Hamrick's out front. Now Allgaier running 2nd. Remote West the thing as we go NASCAR nonstop. under caution for the 4th time. You saw it all in NASCAR nonstop. Harrison Burton trying to take that 2nd position away, and this is what happened.
Down into turn 1, he's on the bottom there, entering the corner, and a little bit of bumps through the entry there. Gets loose up the racetrack, tries not to hit the 7 car, tries to stay out of the 7 car, just no side force. Car comes around up into the fence.
Yeah, he'd gotten underneath Allgaier off of turn 3.
How fast it comes around. When you get closer to another car on your outside, you lose side force, which is basically downforce on the side of the car. And you can see the car just quickly. He's right on that apron.
He's already loose right there, and now he's up the track. And like you said, Junior, now it's only going to get worse.
He tried really hard, though, not to collect the 7 car. Does a great job trying to save himself, but take nobody else with him.
And remind those fans at home, look at the rear deck lid on that 20 car. That little spoiler. These are not cup cars. Not much downforce.
Oh, he's spinning.
There was some bumps entering the corner. He said the car kind of oscillated over these bumps, and I think he got upset. At the back of the car got upset through there. Just kind of couldn't ever get it back underneath him.
A lot of damage on that car. They're not gonna, if they get back out, Steve, they're not gonna have any pace.
Yeah, I believe they'll get out there, probably meet minimum speed, but we talk all the time. We talked at the top of the show, young guys against veteran guys, right? This is the series for people like Harrison to learn. That's a move, Dale, that I have confidence you and Jeff would have taken a little different angle in there. If it would have got loose, unfortunately for the 7, you probably would have used a little bit more of the 7-up, just knowing, hey man, I'm sorry, but if I turn the wheel, I'm wrecking. So we're going to door, and I hope you don't hit the fence, but I'm going to continue. And those are the lessons these drivers learn at the Xfinity level. Now, the 7 was thankful that he goes, hey, man, yeah, learn this lesson, because I'm going by.
I heard you drivers always say 8 tires are better than 4.
They would have worked better in that sense.
And so now we're going to see a few come to pit road with just about 4 left to go in this stage. Dave.
And Justin Allgaier gave crew chief Jason Burdett a heads up. He said, you know what? The 18 threw his water bottle out. I think they're coming. And at the last second, they called Justin Allgaier in. He said, I've got no security in the back end of the car, but the front end is where it's tightest. They'll work on that, Kelly.
Austin Cindric, driver of the 22, said that his corner is better connected. He needs to be a little bit freer, though, on the long run. 4 tires for them, and Daniel Hamrick comes in from the lead. He said his balance is good. The last adjustment helped out his car. He's a little free getting into one, but he thinks he can fix that by backing up the corner.
You all hear that? He threw his water bottle out. I think he's been like, who thinks like that?
I never, but that's a good idea. I'd be telling my other drivers, like, hey, man, be getting some space for the fresh one. So that means he's going.
That would have never crossed my mind while I was driving. Like, hey, he had Mexican for dinner Tuesday. He's going to pit.
Now, did you know that he had that type of food before?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Oh, no, the 18, too fast entering. And so Daniel Hamrick will get hit for a speeding penalty.
And that's costly. 4 laps to go in this stage. I would expect everyone you just saw pit stay out at the end of the stage, because now you're in position. Everybody needs just one stop. So that is a well-hidden face of disappointment from Dave Rogers on top of the pit box. I mean, listen, you're in it as a team. You're not blaming Hamrick. You just know how, I mean, that thing is track position race. It's so costly to give it up almost halfway through.
A couple guys stayed out on this most recent caution, and so they'll restart up front. And good news, Justin Haley just out of the infield care center. Moments ago, Dave spoke with him.
I'm just glad to see Justin walk out of the infield care center. That was a huge hit. How are you?
I'm good. They cleared and evaluated and released me. So really thankful that NASCAR builds such safe race cars. Obviously, that was one of the hardest hits I've ever taken. So thought we were going to be pretty good there. I got some track position. I felt like the leaf gut protection Chevrolet was fast. I'm not really sure what happened there out of 2. I feel like probably could have been cut a little bigger of a break for it being lap 20, but that happens. It's kind of sucks. This season hasn't been great for us in the 11 car. Obviously missing that race at Dover for COVID and everything like that. It's just been a miserable season, so hopefully we get some momentum back before the playoffs and can run away with a good run like we did last season, getting in the front 3.
Justin, we saw you hop right out and go to the ground there. Were you just air knocked out of you at that point?
Yeah, I couldn't breathe, right? The air got knocked out of me, and I wanted to lay down and not be crunched up and extend my diaphragm. So, like I said, I haven't taken one that hard in a while. So I really didn't know what to do. I was trying to breathe, and then I kind of hopped out, didn't see anyone that was coming, so I just decided to lay down, and all good now, though.
Glad to see you out. Big hit for Justin, done for the day, guys, but man, the best news is smiling now.
Yeah, done for the day in Xfinity race, but he was actually scheduled to run in the Cup race here in just a couple hours. So is that still going to happen, do you think?
Yeah, we'll have to just see. Seemed like he was feeling pretty good right there. I'm sure he'll talk it over with his Cup team and see what's best for them. And man, it's just amazing, that huge impact, right, from standing there and talking to us. And I agree with his evaluation. You know, he could have been cut some slack by Mayer. Mayer was on the outside. I mean, that's racing. What I saw right there was racing, and you know, that's what. Just big impacts here at Pocono.
I agree with it as well, but I also think that was pretty mature of Justin, his reaction to it. Like, hey man, I think I could have been cut a break there, but that's racing, and we'll go back and try to do it again next weekend. So, guys maturing right there in front of our eyes.
He's going to need it. He's going Cup racing next year. It was announced. So if you're going to go full time on Sundays, man, you're in the deep end of the swimming pool on Sunday afternoons.
So to finish out stage 2, it'll be Ty Gibbs. He'll be on the outside, and Noah Gragson actually has moved up to that inside line, row 1. Myatt Snyder's had a great run. He's back there in the outside of row 2. Brandon Jones, Josh Berry, all in the top 5 right now. Riley Herbst needs something to turn around for that team this year. He's running in the top 6.
Look at Myatt Snyder in that 2 car. You know, 3 laps to go. He got that win earlier in the year. He's locked into the playoffs. Well, to move through the playoffs, playoff points are a big advantage. Jeff, they're going to give one out at the end of this stage.
Well, you mentioned Riley Herbst at the start of this race. Him needing a good, solid race, needing some points. So they're staying out here trying to get some of these stage points. That 98 car.
We'll see how it goes with 2 laps to go in stage 2. So far, Harrison Burton led 21 laps of this race. Allgaier's led 10, Hamrick 4, Ty Gibbs 2. There's Harrison on pit road. And a 2-lap sprint at the end of this stage.
Well, pretty organized in that bottom lane. The 9 from Noah Gragson getting a gigantic push.
Brandon Jones, does he push him out to the lead? A little bit loose, Noah Gragson. Can he keep it down there? They stay door to door as they come off of turn number 1, and Ty Gibbs is going to have the advantage.
So Noah immediately jumped in behind Ty as soon as he could to keep that outside line from coming down. Myatt Snyder's jumped on the outside of Brandon Jones. Side by side in the tunnel.
Myatt stays on the outside, but able to keep it going the right direction as he jumps in behind Brandon Jones. And now coming up on 1 to go, Ty Gibbs. This is his 8th start in the Xfinity Series. He has led 6 of those races.
Battle behind him, though. You see that white car with the pink spoiler, the splitter rather, behind him, Justin Allgaier. That eventually could be the battle for the win. Cindric's gotten around him back there after they pitted. He's got track position on him.
Austin Cindric, a 3-time winner already this year. Defending champion of the Xfinity Series, will be going Cup racing next year. A big aggressive move there.
Wow, almost 4 wide here down the back straightaway. Josh Berry did not get off of turn 1 very well. New tires behind him. Colleague cars. Oh, contact with 23. There. Hits the left side of the 7.
Yeah, I think the 23 got loose, came up the racetrack. Pretty heavy contact on the left side. I don't see a lot of damage, but you have to have concern over those left side tires.
And now coming to the stage win, it will be Ty Gibbs getting the win. Noah Gragson, Brandon Jones, Myatt Snyder, Riley Herbst, the top 5.
Let's take a look at what happened in the tunnel. So the 23 down there, Perkins, gets loose, smacks the door of the 7.
It was scarier on board with the 7. That second replay was,
yeah.
Wow. Oh, left front on the 7 took a little bit of a shot right there.
Blaine Perkins, the 21-year-old out of Bakersfield, California, making just his 4th start this season. But it's the 2nd stage win for Ty Gibbs in that 54, trying to make it 3 wins on the season. Pit stops happening at the end of stage 2. Dave.
Brandon Jones finishing third in the stage, brings the 19 to pit road. He said, I get into the corner fine, but I have to wait on the throttle. You saw the wrench go through the rear window there. That'll make a chassis adjustment. He'll get 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Kelly.
Josh Berry, the 31 car, also made his way down pit road, but we're seeing some split strategy because the top 2 drivers, Ty Gibbs, Noah Gragson, both opting to stay out on track. So we've got some mix of strategies playing out here.
And so with 2 stages complete, we take a look at the points that have been earned today. Again, Ty Gibbs, 15 already. Noah Gragson, 13. Austin Cindric, 3 wins on the season already. 12 points already earned through stage points. But again, a lot of drivers looking for those points to help them make it into the playoffs.
You heard Kelly with the magic word at Pocono, strategies. If that was the drinking word on a doubleheader Sunday, man, slow down, because I'm not sure you'll make the end of the Cup race. If it's anything like yesterday's, it's going to be breathtaking. So we see right here the 54 of Gibbs, Noah Gragson in the 9 stay on the racetrack. They were last on pit road at lap 22. So the whole strategy for everyone is to run. The reason you didn't pit now is because you cannot make it from here to the end on fuel. So they're going to restart and run a very short time, 5 to 8 laps to get inside their fuel window. Then they will come to pit road. Now the difference maker is Gibbs, Gragson, last on pit road at lap 22. They'll probably take tires, need a lot of fuel. Snyder needs even more fuel. He was last on pit road at lap 12. And then you look at Cindric, Burton, Allmendinger, Allgaier last at pit road at lap 36. Just a splash of gas. It's really the same thing we saw in the closing laps of yesterday's Cup race.
Let's listen in to Ty Gibbs' radio.
Your goal here, you stretch them as far as you can. The further you stretch all the guys behind, that gives us more room to pit under green and take 4 tires in our fuel window to the end. You know, if you're 6 seconds out, they can take 2, but they can't pass us. Follow what I'm saying?
So that right there is an absolute spectacular job by Chris Gale, experience on the pit box to a young race car driver. Telling his young race car driver, I know you got a lot going in here, but listen to me. There's 47 going this race, Dave, and to win this race, this is what we're trying to do. I thought it was good communication on the 54. I hear you got Harrison Burton standing by after an unfortunate end to his day.
Yeah, he was hoping to win this race, Steve, and he was going for it there, Harrison. What happened with the 20 car?
I thought I was clear on the 7 and tried to slide up in front of him into the traction compound, and right at the last second, he just got on my right side, and I got loose under him, just got the air taken out. Nothing, you know, that's just racing. I guess I haven't seen it yet, so, you know, I don't really know exactly what happened. I just, you know, feel like I tried to slide him up, and I guess we ran out of room, both going for the same lane, and I paid the price for it. So I'm frustrated because we're fast enough to win races, and we've been close multiple times this year, and it feels like it's long overdue. And I got to quit making mistakes, and we'll put our car in victory lane before long. I know it. It's just, you know, keep pounding, trust the process, whatever you want to say. That's what we're trying to do right now is you know, keep digging.
I was going to ask you how you keep yourself pumped up, because Jason and I were talking about it this morning. Your crew chief got the speed, seemed to have the mechanics for it, but just aren't getting the W's.
Yeah, that's frustrating, right? You know, you know you're fast enough. You know that if you put it all together in one weekend, you can win. And every weekend we go somewhere and we think we can win. And this place especially, I feel really confident here. And I guess I lost some confidence today. I all but had it stopped. Just, gosh, so frustrating. But just proud of our guys. They've always got my back, and we'll keep digging.
All right, Harrison Burton out from the infield care center, guys.
Well, we talk about learning lessons. I think that's one that Tyler Green, which is Harrison's spotter, and Harrison need to look at. I understand what he thought he had going into turn 1, but in my opinion, the 7 was out there the whole way. So that slide he was looking for, Junior, right, there's some information he needs from his spotter, probably at the end of the straightaway, or how clear he is, learn together, because that's the information he knows. It's just never a spot really to slide into with any sort of entry speed.
It's definitely a situation to learn from. He sees the replay, he'll learn even more.
Austin Cindric will be on the inside for the restart. Ty Gibbs on the outside as we get ready for beginning the stage 3.
You heard the plan. Get out there and get gone for the 54. Easier said than done.
Noah Gragson pushing that 54 into turn number 1.
Oh, Cindric on that white car, second in line. tons of entry speed. Will he clear the 9 off the corner? He will. That's a pretty successive exit speed.
Oh, he didn't take it, though. He didn't move up in front of him.
I'm shocked by that.
You talked about the spotter. Spotter never called him clear or something. He had it clearly could have taken that spot and didn't.
He's going to take it now, I think. Wow, that's an impressive move back on the bottom.
A lot of useless ground lost, though, to be honest. Like, he easily could have moved up in front of Noah and then been much closer to Ty entering the tunnel.
Acceptable racing has changed over the years, right? I mean, Jeff, that's sliding up in front. That's complete game on now. And you see this Hornet's Nest back here, the 18 of Hamrick, that orange and black car trying to recover from that penalty back up to 12th.
Sam Mayer moving to the outside, or excuse me, inside of Brett Moffitt in the 02. So Sam Mayer in the 8, Moffitt in the 02. Just in front of them, Michael Lynette in the 1. I can hang on to that position as we ride along with
the 54 up the track here.
Yeah, Gibbs had an issue.
Now he's under attack from Noah. Lost so much momentum. Now Noah's trying to take that spot.
So now remember that plan. Get out there so we can take 4 tires. Well, that plan is out the window now. Now he's lost track position. That is how good strategy can go awry as the 54-9 continue to battle.
Still fought back through the tunnel, though, trying to keep that position.
And the caution's out.
Oh, Riley Herbst in the 98. We were just talking about needing a good day. Scored some stage points. Man, heavy damage.
My goodness.
I thought you said clear. I did say clear. He drove her back out there.
Oh. And so there's that communication between spotter and driver again.
A lot of video going to be
reviewed,
analyzed and reviewed. And you know, I say that, but Jeff, we talk about this every week. That's what this series is for. I mean, this is a tough track. I'm glad to see it on the Xfinity schedule. It has not been here for many, it's not one that's long standing on it. I think it's important for these younger drivers to run at a track this size.
So Riley Herbst, the tough season continues for him. He has 4 top 10 finishes this year. 2 of those were top 5, but you see him below the playoff line, that cut line. So Riley Herbst, 62 points coming in, or right now, and that number is going to get worse.
He's already backwards into the tunnel. The hard contact, man. It moved the fuel cell and everything so far to the back of that car. Let's take a look at the pass over in turn 1 and 2 for the lead. What happened to the 54 car? So gets a little bit loose way up the racetrack in the dust. They put down a speedy drive. And there you see, that's all it takes. One little bobble and you get up into the marbles.
And that's a great point. You just said, one little bobble, one little mistake. And you're doing this at 150 plus miles an hour in turn 1, but one little mistake like that puts him from a comfortable lead to 3rd.
Yeah, so the PJ1 is tacky, and all of the marbles and the tire debris that come off of the cars are going to go up the racetrack, and they're going to cling to that PJ1. So right outside of where the cars are using it, right outside of that groove is just marbles, where all that stuff stuck to the track. And so usually without the PJ1, the marbles get blown up the racetrack after laps and laps of cars running. It pushes all that stuff right up against the wall, and you see it right there. But a lot of this is all getting caught on this PJ1 right here. And if you get moved up a little bit out of the groove, you're going to go for a wild ride.
Collected some of those marbles and lost the lead is what happened there for Ty Gibbs. Austin Cindric is out front. We get ready for a restart. Your Fast Family is back. That's Fast and Furious F9. It's now playing in theaters. You can scan the code on your screen to buy tickets. We see a lot of fans out there that would be excited, I'm sure, to go check that movie out. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. We look down on the sold-out campgrounds here in the infield of Pocono.
Rick, did you see the 2 flags on that flag post. They had Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I don't know who's who, but they better sit on either side of the camper this afternoon, because I have a feeling that's going to be a battle.
So I talked to the racetrack, and they have more campers here today than they've ever had at any race in the history of this racetrack. They had to open up parking lots, traditional parking lots, for camping for this particular race because of the demand.
Yeah, we've been coming here a long time, and we've seen big crowds, but this is totally breathtaking. I mean, look at that shot. Cars parked forever because the grandstands are full. The campers, there's areas in the infield, as you just said, that I've never seen. I wondered what I was seeing that looked so differently. And it's, but they've done a nice job. Think about a weekend. If you want to come to the track for a weekend, 2 Cup races and an Xfinity Series race. I mean, that's a lot of action.
Seen so many kids on bicycles and scooters around the infield.
Yeah, dog parks. They got a playground. I mean, they've done an incredible job at this racetrack, Kelly.
I think I spotted an infield bar or 2 as well yesterday after the Cup race. All right, before that caution, we saw Ty Gibbs give up the lead. He kind of collected himself, was quiet on the radio, and then said this.
Just pushing too far, sorry. No worries.
You found your limit, you know, so use that for knowledge later.
Remember, he won on debut in this series, but he told me it really took him about the 3rd race in where he truly felt like he belonged here in the Xfinity Series. 2 wins now already in his first 7 races. It's been impressive. He said it adds a little bit of pressure on one hand because people have such high expectations, but on the other hand, it's been nice to prove himself.
See right here we go. Little Alex Bowman, man, he's having a good day. Yep. Hoping his man can go 2 for 2 later today because flags out.
That is one of my favorite things to see at a racetrack is the young up-and-coming flag man.
And he's telling
Every
his buddy.
local track has that little kid standing on the front straightaway in the grandstands waving them flags.
Yeah,
He's got the style for sure.
Oh, it's got the
nice
good motion. Good motion.
Did you see how he knew he was on the screen? He's telling his buddy, hey, I'm on the screen. Look, you got to look at my.
Now he's got the green.
He's got all of them.
He's ready.
Yep,
He's
switch
ready
it
for the
up.
start.
We're going green here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little early for the restart zone now. Hold on.
Okay. That's okay.
There you go.
Oh, he's got his timing right. That is awesome.
How will Cindric do? Green flag back in the air.
Good push for Ty Gibbs on that outside lane.
Side by side for second. Cindric has cleared them. Here comes Noah Gregson.
Nice job of keeping pace off turn 1.
Yeah, he did. But Ty did a great job as well, staying on the outside of Noah to give him the opportunity to clear for second place. Noah slides in behind him in 3rd.
There's Myatt Snyder just behind Noah.
Brandon Brown side by side back here. One of the colleague cars, just an Allgaier that sorts out of the tunnel. Sam Mayer trying to bring that 8 car back into the fight after getting in the fence early today.
Jeff Burton down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Jeff tries to get under Allgaier, can't do it.
Allgaier with a little run here.
Going by Brandon Brown. All these guys trying to go by Brandon Brown, putting him on the outside down into turn 1. Battle for the lead.
Look at this.
Ty right up behind him.
Trying to take the air off that spoiler. What little spoiler is there?
Definitely trying to make it uncomfortable for that 22, Cindric. You back up this tunnel and try to make gains on exit. Try to get in the throttle first. Ty backs it up, tries to get to the gas, tries to close in so he can be within striking distance, and he won't be able to do it down here into turn 3.
Cindric had so much momentum through the tunnel turn. Wasn't trying to be on the bottom. He was carrying so much pace through there. Cindric right on that yellow line.
Despite the nature of the field, if you're not one of these first 2 cars, if you're someone back here in the mix, as soon as you think you can make it on fuel, you can come and pit. 2 reasons. One, if the caution comes out, you're great shape, but also it'll psych you to clear racetrack. You'll be on the other side of the racetrack, out of this traffic, have a better opportunity to run faster lap times.
How close do you have to be to the leader to come to pit road and not lose the lead lap?
Well, that's your other concern. How fast the pit stop's going to be. We saw yesterday a slow pit stop hurt them. These guys, their lap time are slower than Cup. So I think if you're within about 9 seconds of the leader, you're okay.
Also, young drivers, no practice. You didn't get a chance to practice getting on pit road. This is not a real difficult pit road to get on, but it's easy to speed on corner entry.
I like my plan, Jeffrey. Now you're making me nervous of everything that could go wrong.
So they're in their pit window now. Inside of 40 laps, 39 to go. We would potentially see someone choose to come to pit road.
Oh, Myatt Snyder sliding up the racetrack right there. Justin on the inside. They battle down the front straightaway. Myatt's going to try to get down here and side draft him a little bit.
See the angle of approach right here that Allgaier takes. Back up the racetrack behind Snyder. Snyder, a great job keeping that pace.
He drives right back up to the bumper again, trying to make him uncomfortable. Turns underneath him, has just a little bit better race car. Myatt's doing a good job, though, using the momentum off the high side.
Is that side draft? Dave.
We watch this battle now. Allgaier is going to get the spot from the red 2 of Snyder. Jeff, you talked about the importance of this pit stop getting onto pit lane during the practice when they ran down pit road before the race ever started. That one time, Myatt Snyder's car was, quote, bucking. It was making just kind of a jerking motion as he was coming down pit road in that low gear. And then they told him, and you sped in 2 different sections. So it was a good lesson for Myatt. First time he came down pit road today, just fine. He'll have to hit it perfect like everybody else on the next one.
Well, a couple things Myatt has going on right now. He's got the oldest tires on the racetrack, so doing a nice job keeping pace. That bucking on pit road, that is just the RPM that the engine is running going down pit road. There's not a lot you can do about that. That's something, and it's very hard to read the tach because the tach is bouncing up and down. The needle's bouncing up and down as the car is bucking. So what is pit road speed when the tach is bouncing around? So Myatt's going to have to pull it back a little bit and be cautious.
Old habits are hard to break. As I scan pit road, I see the pit crew for the 2 of Myatt Snyder jump on pit wall. I would expect to see a hard left-hand turn here as he exits turn 3. Doing a nice job. Remember, he was on the oldest tires as just mentioned, so I expect to see 4 tires for Myatt, and then who follows? Right after he kind of opens the floodgates, who thinks it's time to start coming? Oh, he's going to stay out. Another lap.
And he was on pit road. The last time he was on pit road was lap 12. So
tons of yellows.
Out there a long time.
Yeah, tons of yellows, which saves a lot of gas. This tells me that they're not getting as good a mileage as we thought. We thought they could go 40. If they really could, I believe they already would have come to pit road. I think their fuel mileage is not as good as we expected it to be at the start of the race.
Here's Allgaier trying to make him a little bit loose. That uncomfortable feeling.
I'll be honest, I am shocked by how well the 2 cars hanging on with those tires. Just right there, that moment alone with the 16 car right up at the back bumper should have moved him right up the racetrack. He should have been swatting flies in there chasing the back of that race car, but it's hooked up.
So Cindric has moved out to a 9/10 of a second lead over Ty Gibbs. Noah Gragson back there 2.3 seconds.
Right behind these guys, Hamrick, who had that penalty, coming back to the field. Here's Allgaier on pit road.
So Allgaier has made his way onto pit road. And he's headed toward you, Dave.
And he'll need to hit his marks and not speed in any section of pit road as well. Remember earlier we talked about no security in the rear end of that race car, but the front end was difficult for turning. So they'll change the 4 Goodyear tires. They'll put the Sunoco fuel in and send him back out. And he'll be on his own. He's in his pit window. We'll see if the 7 cycles to the lead.
Cycles is the key, just as Dave pointed out. We've seen the 7 service. He'll be safely on the lead lap leaving, so not really anything to compare to. We got to get everybody else to pit to see who has the most success. As the 16's finally got inside the 2 of Myatt Snyder.
Going to drag the 18 along with him, and so Daniel Hamrick trying to move back toward the front.
I think Myatt might be coming to pit road here. Yep.
Do not speed. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming now.
That's a good entrance.
He is downshifting from 4th gear to 3rd gear, then to 2nd gear.
And then Jeff, his job as a driver is not over, is it? What's he got to do right here while the crew goes through?
He is not overshoot the marks. Get that left front nose right on that sign that they were holding over. Now when the car goes down, get the car back into 1st gear when the car is on the ground, not when the car is in the air. As soon as it drops, roll.
Doing all that with the foot on the brake, so the wheels don't turn while they're trying to change the tire.
So now the risk for these cars that are still on the racetrack, as we see right here, a battle between the 16 and the 18, is if a yellow comes out, those 2 cars that just pitted, Rick, still in the lead lap, they're going to assume the race lead. So this is scary, and this is why we now see the 22 of Cindric. Here they come, the 9. Pit road is going to be busy.
Kelly.
That was Austin Cindric in the 22, pitting from the lead. They won't make any changes to his race car. He said the balance has really been okay at the end of the run. Sounds like it was getting just a little bit tight, but as I said, no changes. Expect 4 tires here. Noah Gregson in the number 9 car, also on pit road. He was experiencing a little bit of brake fade. Said mostly the balance was good. Then it started to get a little bit too tight on the right front. 4 tires for the 9.
Now we'll need to keep our eye on the 7, Justin Allgaier, because he's already made his stop. Where these guys will blend out in comparison to Justin.
Well, the big story right there is you see off in the distance the red 7 on the straightaway. Flop of position on pit road, right, Jeff? We saw the 22 first of the leaders on pit road, but the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger passes him on pit road. This will be for the race lead if everything cycles through.
And we saw the 7 just behind him. Kelly.
The 54 of Ty Gibbs has also made his way down pit road. Ty saying he was just a little bit snug earlier in the run, asking to be freed up a little bit for the 18-year-old. Telling him keep that wheel straight, fuel goes in. It looks like it will be another 4-tire change.
So now right now we're showing you the 16. He'll be the leader. We got 54 on pit road. He's all the way down near pit exit. He's going to leave right here. And unfortunately for him, pit road speed is about 100 miles an hour, less than the poor 2 cars on the racetrack. So right side tires for the 16 of Allmendinger was the move that leapfrogged Cindric. You guys were shocked how well Myatt held on the old tires. Big call by the 16, get track position, make Cindric pass him. 32 to go. It's going to be a tough battle, but at least he has a battle to fight.
So again, everyone still has to come to pit road. Hamrick, Sam Mayer, Mike Lynette, Clements, Moffitt, Brown, Austin Hill, LeBay, Ferrucci, Martin Schweatherman. They're all still scored in front of Allmendinger, who has been to pit road. He's running 25th right now. Brandon Jones coming off of pit road.
Gas only by the 19.
I was going to say, that I was looking for it, and then it was gone. I think that was fuel only, Steve.
Well, this is how close it was. That's going to be for the lead. Can he hold the position? Look at that. Brandon Jones is wanting just a little bit more speed. That was a pretty good call by the 19, though, of Gibbs. It cycled him towards the front. The Gibbs car, I mean, with the Gibbs in the race, I got to clear it up. We got a lot of Gibbs going around, Rick. But
so anything that these guys could do that are up front, say Daniel Hamrick right now. He stayed out on the racetrack. Obviously, you got a lot of fuel going on. We see Michael Lynette on pit road.
Hamrick needs to do what he's doing, which is running fast laps. As right now we see Cindric on the inside of the 16. We expect this to be the race for the lead. Allmendinger knows it. For that reason, he's fighting hard on the outside, catching the lap car.
Just can't keep pace. And Brandon Jones back there in that yellow car, he was hoping that Allmendinger could stay there and keep them side by side down the front straightaway. That would have provided him an opportunity to make it 3 wide, try to get the lead. Just didn't work out.
Yeah, that's a fight back here for the 20th position, but as we mentioned, everyone will be cycling through pit stop. So a fight for 20th. Cindric in front of Allmendinger now could be for the race lead. We go NASCAR nonstop. Friday. Alec Baldwin is back in DreamWorks Animation's The Boss Baby, family business. And this time he's got company with Amy Sedaris as the new Boss Baby in town. Catch The Boss Baby family business in theaters and streaming on Peacock this Friday.
This is just a great battle between Allgaier, Allmendinger. You see Noah Gregson, Brandon Jones. Why this battle has been raging on, trying to get some track position. Up the top of your screen, you see the 18 of Daniel Hamrick. Remember, he had that speeding penalty, lost his track position. Well, they're trying to find a way to get back in this mix and staying on the racetrack. This is a gamble, actually. It's more risky than coming to pit road. And he ran a bunch of very, very fast laps in clean air. And why that's important is he's going to come to pit road, take gas only, I assume. We figure he can do that in about 33 seconds. Well, he's currently 34.5 seconds in front of Cindric. So, my point is the 18 could come in. You see where they're at. So on the bottom left, look at Pocono. That's the leader, the 18. The 22 is behind him, almost 2/3 of a lap. The 18 is trying to stretch his legs, stretch his lead. That strategy we heard from the 54 on the radio, this is the whole idea. The 18 wants to come down pit road, take gas only, and hopefully rejoin the racetrack in front of Cindric. Cindric is currently 14th because everyone in front of him needs to go to pit road.
Steve, does the amount of fuel that he puts in, is it determined by the seconds that he's ahead of the 22 right now?
The amount of fuel he puts in is simply how much fuel did he save from the last time he was on pit road at lap 36. You know, from lap 36 to lap 90, you need X amount of fuel. So you had one whole full tank. Now you don't need a whole full tank. You just need about a can or can and a half. I'm not exactly sure of the math. But you don't want to put any extra in, Kelly.
Well, Steve, if you wanted to throw another curveball at the situation, have a listen to the radio from the 22 team.
Got my front tight. Is my left front wheel tight?
All right, we are confident on the left front being tight, Austin. We are confident that it's tight, no pressure behind.
Copy that, thank you.
So they can tell him that they're confident. They have been reviewing it. We've seen the pit crew huddled around the video to review. He's definitely good to go on fuel for 2 green-white checkers. That's the 22 we're talking about.
It's a good battle.
But we'll keep an eye.
Oh, sorry, Kelly. So, Kelly, what makes me more nervous is, remember, just a week ago, we heard that same question from Chase Elliott. Post-race, a bunch of loose lug nuts and a DQ. It's more than just points being lost. There are penalties. We don't expect them to change tires again, so that story could continue for the 22. You hope not, but as a crew chief, this is the new level of concern you have to have now. It's a rules violation as well.
Man, I wish I had that when I was racing. Hey, you guys confident? We are confident.
You mean the confidence that they're confident?
Yeah, that would have helped me.
I heard that a lot. We got them tight. Well, guess what? You didn't. One thing also that's happened in this exchange was that Ty Gibbs got by Allgaier, Allmendinger, Noah. He got by all those guys, and now he is the car behind Austin Cindric. So let's see how this shakes out after Hamrick does pit, but Ty Gibbs will be a factor.
All right, here at left side, left front tire changer. He's hitting, he's working, he hits a good one there. So I'd say he hit the last one. We have a shot from our cameras from a distance. These guys here are looking at the helmet cam from the tire changer, but it definitely wasn't like he was done and sitting on a wall when the car left. I mean, he was working to the last minute. We heard the radio report from Kelly that says they think it's got its height, but you see just how close that is between Jackman and tire changer.
And Steve, the Jackman normally waits until the tire changer has hit all 5, right? We saw there where the car had come down and the tire changer was still trying to hit lug nuts when the tire was on the ground.
Well, the fronts aren't going to start spinning. The rear's already steps on the gas, but the guy in the front, as crazy as that sounds, that guy has, an extra 2 or 3 tenths of a second. That's his goal.
So that's the question mark that Cindric has right now in the back of his mind.
Well, I think what Cindric didn't come over the radio and say, I got a vibration. I think Cindric saw the same thing we just saw, that the guy was still working as he pulled away, and he's just asking him, hey, did you get him tight? We did. No problem. I'm go about my business.
34 seconds, the gap between Daniel Hamrick and Cindric right now. Hamrick still has to come to pit road.
going by now. No Glenn. Leaders passed him.
A really long stop for Daniel Hamrick. Why were they on pit road that long, Steve?
Well, we know they needed quite a bit of fuel, but I can't believe they needed so much fuel. They had time to change 4 tires. Their gamble must be to run long, put fresh tires on, and hope they get a caution. And if you run too fast on pit road, none of that matters. And unfortunately for Daniel Hamrick, for the second time today, too fast on pit road. So the strategy call I thought was gas only. I was wrong. It was run long, keep fresh tires, which is a call that was available to Dave Rogers, but the penalty will eliminate all the conversation.
We talked about pit road. Why is this pit road easy to speed on on entries? Because it's so far away from turn 3, the exit of turn 3. You can carry so much speed onto that front straight, onto the pit road. It's just easy to misjudge it and get the car slowed down.
I'll be interested to see what segment he was speeding in, because when he came by us at the pylon halfway down pit road, he looked like he was fast at that particular point.
That's his 5th speeding penalty this year.
Yeah, we all thought he looked like he was coming fast down pit road. He definitely was. He hasn't come to pit road yet to serve that penalty. So Clements is out front. Jeremy Clements leading the race right now, but also still has to come to pit road.
Down this time, just
All right, we talked about getting on pit road. We have a great opportunity with this helmet cam.
red solid, don't push it. One red here. Hot.
So when it's all green, he's actually a little below his RPM limit. Then it showed that red. They were telling him 1 red. He flashed 2 reds. Just for a short period of time.
That's exactly what I did as a driver. You'd be like, hey, 2 greens or 2 reds, and I'd be like, you got it, buddy. It's 1 red all the way down.
Oh my goodness.
Well, so I never came down pit road at speed, but I don't know, the tech. I mean,
it looked good.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked.
Yeah, I'm wondering where he sped. What segment?
I feel a little bad now what I asked y'all to do, because I thought that looked good and it wasn't good enough.
It's so hard too, because remember, you got to get the thing slowed down and get all those lights shining before you get to that line, which means you got to slow it down before you get to the beginning of pit road. Well, the sooner you slow it down, the slower you're going when you get there. So you just got, it's such a hard thing to get all that timing situated. I'm like you, I want to hear what section he sped in.
Alex LeVay, by the way, is now the race leader as we see Jeremy Clements come to pit road. You can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring, in-car cameras, and a radio broadcast. Just search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial today.
Well, we were talking about the 18 and his issue. You mentioned Alex LeVay leading Tim Cindric, try to make him his dad. Austin Cindric in the 22 running second. Ty Gibbs running third. And I mean, this should be the battle for the win, would be between these 2 cars when the 36 has to come to pit road. And Cindric did a nice job. You know, he's got about a 3.5, 4 second lead. But the thing here at Pocono, you know, you catch a lap car at the wrong time and lose momentum, you can give up a lot of time.
So LeVay is on pit road. That means now that Cindric is up front. Everyone that had to pit and everyone that's running up front now has been able to come to pit road. So Gibbs is 3.2 seconds behind Austin Cindric right now. Allgaier is 5 seconds back of Cindric. We take a look at the Toyota driver update. Ty Gibbs in just his 8th start in the Xfinity Series and was looking for his 3rd win, 2 wins already, currently up to 2nd in this one. But I mentioned 3.2 seconds with only 15 laps to go.
The last lap by, though, almost a half a second faster than Cindric. There was some traffic involved. We'll just have to see. That's really what it comes down to. You know, if they were both in absolutely clear traffic, you would say that's a lot to make up. But catching a car at the wrong time here could cost you a lot of time and speed. And catching them at the right time, get a little toe down the straightaway, perhaps can actually help your lap time.
we were watching as these cars were blending out there. And Allgaier was really, he was the measuring stick because Allgaier came first, and we said, okay, can Cindric get out in front of him? Well, Allmendinger and Cindric both got out in front of Allgaier, but Allmendinger has fallen back now to the 6th position. So it's Cindric, Gibbs, Allgaier, and Ryan Sieg. They're the top 4. Noah Gragson running 5th. As we go NASCAR nonstop. 14 to go for Pocono. Okay. Coming up on just 10 to go from the Pocono Green 225, the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Pocono Raceway. And coming up next is NASCAR America pre-race as we get ready for race number 2 for the Cup Series. Countdown to green will get us underway at 3 o'clock. And then again, green flag dropping at 3:30. The IMSA race tonight at 7 o'clock. Jimmy Johnson will be running in that. Austin Cindric coming up on 10 laps to go, looking for win number 4 on the season. And right now, a 3.2-second lead over Ty Gibbs. That gap has not shrunk.
Yeah, it's really not shrunk. Gibbs in 2nd, Allgaier 3rd, Gragson, Ryan Sieg in 5th. Now he was last on pit road at lap 47. It would be a stretch, but we've had some cautions. Maybe he thinks he could try to make it or try to catch a yellow.
No. They're gonna have to come. I know.
Trying to be glass half full up here, buddy.
Probably 2 or 3 laps. Shane Wilson, the crew chief, has been talking to him and said we're probably gonna have to come in with about 8 to go.
Well, there you have it for Sieg. So he's just trying to, get a caution, bunch up the field, come get some fuel and tires, and see if he can work from there. Allmendinger 6th, Brandon Jones 7th.
Let's get an update on drivers up front. We'll start with Kelly.
3 wins already this season for Austin Cindric, 7 stage wins to go along with it. But as crew chief Brian Wilson said, they still feel like they've left a lot of races out on the table. He said, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. We're trying to get better each and every week. Remember, Austin will be going up to the Cup Series next year, and they want to do everything they can to prepare him for that. Austin said he knows that his biggest competition will probably be whoever is in the 54 car, and hasn't that been true today? Ty Gibbs now running 2nd. looking for his 3rd win in a limited schedule this season. Remember, he is the grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs, and I talked to Ty earlier, and I said, your grandfather has accomplished so much, both on the football field and in racing, yet he seems to get most emotional and have his proudest moments watching you race and win. And Ty said, that is so special, but it's not just me. He's the same with my siblings. He's the same with my cousins. And by the way, both my grandfathers are super proud of all of us to watch it. A nice family affair. He knows he's lucky to have this opportunity, and he's certainly taken advantage of it, Dave.
Kelly, another 3 seconds back. There is the Hellman's car of Justin Allgaier. Just doesn't have anything more radioed into his crew to give it today, but was congratulated for keeping it in the hunt all day long. Remember how he comes into today, 2 wins on the season, but also 2 failures to finish, which have him 5th in championship regular season points. Now that's important because he was trailing Harrison Burton. Harrison has had a bad day. This car was only about 20 points behind and going for those valuable bonus points for the regular season finish. There's Sieg coming off of pit road now with that splash. Allgaier needs to have a good finish here and try to gain on the championship.
Good run for Jeb Burton. He's up in the top 10, running in that 7th spot right now.
And Hamrick, even with that speeding penalty, surprisingly, he's still in 8th. Moffitt in 9th, Brett Moffitt in 9th, and Snyder there in 10th.
Yeah, Moffitt, actually, they put out a tweet earlier, said racing with heavy hearts today. Prayers go out to the entire SoCal family, Mark and Cindy SoCal, great partners of our motorsports. Unfortunately, Cindy's brother Robert passed away unexpectedly.
Yeah, another guy having a good run, Josh Berry in this 31 car. 2nd time in this 31 car. Finished 8th in Mid-Ohio, so did a really nice job there. Good solid day again for Josh. Great job. Won that race earlier this year in Martinsville, driving your car, Junior. So good to see Josh still out there making something happen.
Santino Ferrucci in the 26 car. This guy's an IndyCar racer. He doesn't run stock cars. He's had a few starts, but every time that he's been in these cars, I think he's outperformed not only what his expectations might be for us, but also the car he's driving. That tells me that this guy can wheel no matter what he's in. I think if he wanted to steer himself toward a stock car career, he could have quite a good success doing that. Just seems like he can get anything and make it work or figure it out. I mean, imagine this, no practice or anything, and he's out there competitively in the top 15, running 14th right now, competing around cars that are battling to make it into the playoffs. He's beating Brandon Brown and a few other guys that are relatively competitive in this series.
You mentioned Brandon Brown right behind him. Brandon, look where he is in points, 13th, 50 points out. He and Jeremy Clemens in a good battle with Michael Annett, Riley Herbst to try to get in the playoffs. Pretty impressed with Brandon Brown and what they do with this team. And we talked about teams earlier that do not have the funding as some other teams. It doesn't mean they're not good teams. They just don't quite have the same equipment. They work hard, probably work harder than the big teams, and it's good to see them out having good solid days.
Yeah, Brandon Brown made the comment to us not that long ago. He said, you know, I feel like we're overachieving if we can get a top 10 finish with this team, just because of, you know, the limited number of people that work on the team and what they have to do to make it work.
Remember, he made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So, you know, they set that standard, and we're a playoff team trying to meet that again this year.
Well, you mentioned that playoff battle. Michael Annett just had a quiet day. We haven't said his name much today. He's done a nice job of kind of staying out of the replays for the right or wrong reasons. Just kind of doing it. You see right there, started 8th, was up to 3rd at one point with the cycle, currently 12th. You know, plus 56 to the cut line. And these are the types of days when you see someone like Riley Herbst with an issue, and that just has to bring this solid finish home.
Here's Jesse Iwuji in the 74. One of our buddies at back behind the wheel here in the Xfinity Series.
Jesse running at 32nd position. This car right here has actually improved a lot over the season, over the last couple of seasons. A good car for him to get into, and he, you know, when you're young and you haven't really had a lot of experience in a series like this or driving these cars, it's good to get in something that drives pretty good, so you know what good is, right? You know what to expect the car to do, and he's in a pretty decent machine today.
Listen, we all had a conversation with Noah Gragson earlier this week. Noah was really down, right? This has not been the year that he expected, that any of us expected. We thought he would have multiple wins by now, be one of those championship contenders. It just hasn't worked out, has not been a good year. It isn't from a lack of speed. I don't know that they've really had winning speed, but they've had good, solid speed, but they just haven't been able to finish races. Noah Gragson, sitting there running 4th today, I think is something they can build off of. He's earned 13 points in the stages. That's the 2nd most today. Running 4th, that's a good, solid day which they can build off of.
Moffitt and Snyder battling right here for 9th place. Myatt's done a really good job today. He was behind on tires for most of the afternoon and hung right in there in the top 5 and the top 10 with good speed in this car.
Trying to take that 9th spot away.
Josh Berry right behind him, trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah, if you don't think the battles back in the field are tough, just watch this one. I mean, these guys are battling for a top 10 finish. They're going to go at each other.
3 more laps.
Oh, boy. Josh going to try to help Myatt. Him and Myatt's raced late models together a lot. Got a pretty decent friendship. He's going to give Myatt the momentum and shove that he needs to get past that 02 car.
Just under 2 laps to go for Cindric.
As we watch this battle right here, Cindric was out to a comfortable lead, but you talk about moments that make you nervous. He thought he had the top, the 66 sled up. He turned by him. It ended up being clear, but it did cost him, I mean,
about a second.
Over a second of his lead. He's down to a 1-second lead now with 2 to go. What's the magic word? Well, that should be okay. Well, it should have been okay a minute ago, and you see traffic in front of him again. One more close call like that, and Ty Gibbs is close enough to take a chance. There you go, hand out the window. Ware says, you run the bottom. I am going to run the top.
We learned yesterday, too, that until that driver takes the checkered flag, nothing is off the table. So Austin Cindric trying to make sure to put perfect laps together and hopes that the car continues to be as good as it has been. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank for Austin Cindric.
Well, even right there, although he was able to pass them, it really slowed his momentum down coming onto the front straightaway. Ty Gibbs able to gain a ton of track position on him. Ty is in position.
Striking position as they go through 1. Can Ty Gibbs close the gap? Now into the tunnel turn. This has been one of the best turns for Ty Gibbs all day. We'll see if he can make the momentum up through the tunnel turn.
Cindric's trying to break the draft down the back straightaway. Long Pond straightaway through the tunnel turn. Oh, Gibbs a little loose, but man, wheeled it through that corner. Closes in on the 22 of Cindric into turn 3.
Stays in the gas. Here he comes into 3. Cindric all the way down to the yellow line. Gibbs following right in his tire tracks as they come out of 3. The momentum still with the 22. Sideways for Ty Gibbs. Austin Cindric's going to win it.
Great job, guys. Perfect race. Yes.
It wasn't a walk in the park, that one.
No, he got turned up in the last couple laps for sure.
One thing we learned the last 2 days, you better finish him off.
A mature drive by Ty to continue to try to chase the leader down, and Cindric, pressure got turned on that last lap. Did a nice job. I mean, defending champ, we would expect that out of the driver of the 22.
Tell you what's pretty impressive. This is just the 8th race for Ty Gibbs. And in those 8 races, he has finished 1st or 2nd against Cindric 4 times. So half of his races, he's finished 1st or 2nd with Austin Cindric.
Hey, what Austin Cindric is doing as well is he just keeps racking those playoff points. Right, another win adds 5 more playoff points to him. That gives him 27 playoff points. The next closest is Allmendinger at 13. So a major advantage going to these playoffs for Austin Cindric.
And momentum heading into next week's race, which is kind of his wheelhouse when you go to a road course.
Yeah, he'll be super fast next week at Road America. Be a great show between him and Allmendinger, I'm sure.
Driver and team working together here at Pocono.
That's a good donut right there. That was a well done tight radius donut. Look at that. I guess he's gotten a lot of practice.
He has. quite a bit of practice. 4th win already here in 2021 for Austin Cindric. That's really good circles, by the way, right there as he climbs out to celebrate with the crowd.
Fans appreciate what they saw today.
12th career win for Austin Cindric. Remember when he got on the roll? A couple Kentucky wins, and then all of a sudden momentum was on his side. Road course wins, 12 wins already. He's the 2nd youngest driver in Xfinity Series history to get to 12 wins at his age.
He's come a long way. I remember when he was running into a lot of things and just having a hard time putting races together. And now he's the best racer in this series, champion. Definitely the threat to back-to-back champion. Going into the Cup Series next year. I mean, the future is really, really bright for this young man.
Incredible amount of talent. As the helmet is off, earbuds come out, and Kelly's there.
What a sight and sound to see the fans back in the stands here at Pocono. A nicely executed low RPM burnout, just as the team instructed. Austin, it wasn't as easy as we thought it was going to be. What did you think when you saw that 54 closing on you in those final laps?
Well, I didn't know what happened to the 66 there. I went from a 3-second lead to a half-a-second lead. So this thing's never easy. I had to avoid 2 wrecks today, but no, it's awesome to obviously be in front of all you great people. This is awesome. Come in today and see all the campers. I know you guys are psyched for our next race, so I'm so excited to see people back at the racetrack, at the car shop, Ford Mustang, and Victory Lane. Thank you, everyone. Roush Yates, everyone makes this happen. Discount Tire Menards. I'm over the moon.
Your first win here at Pocono, you said it was a perfect race. How big was the execution of this team?
This track was on our kill list since last year. There's a few more of those, so we'll keep putting our heads down. We got to keep getting better. We got strong competition and a lot of racing left.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Kelly.
Big cheer from the crowd for Austin Cindric. I think there's some Ty Gibbs fans out there too after what they saw at the end of this race. Looked like you had him in your sights there. When did you know you had a shot there at the end?
Yeah, you know, the lap cars definitely helped me to my advantage. You know, they were just in the way and messed up, and Cindric got stuck up behind them, and you know, I was luckily close in. Just put myself in a weird spot there where I tried to go under him and maybe give him a little tap, but you know, I think I could have gotten wider and crossed him back over because he went low, and then I was stuck behind him in air. So just learning, you know, I'm very thankful to be here. Congrats to Austin Cindric and the whole Penske group over there, but you know, I can't thank everybody enough. This is a blast and a dream come true to run the next Xfinity Series.
I would think that the field would be a little bit concerned as you pile on the information yourself. What did you learn specifically today?
Just to learn a lot about aero. I feel like these cars, it's just so different with aero, less downforce, you know, compared to all the other stuff I drove. So just kind of learning and keep going. You know, work never stops, and you know, I feel like you got to be married to this game to be good. So we're going to do that.
Ty doing the work comes home second today, guys.
Let's look at the playoff standings here in the Xfinity Series. Like some of the fans are going to go grab a refreshment, maybe a hot dog before the next race. But Austin Cindric with 4 wins after 16 races. Very strong. More playoff points here.
That's what really jumps out at me, Rick, where Jeff mentioned it, right, is that we knew he was going to be a contender for the championship, but this success through the middle of summer isn't just momentum. It's real, tangible points he could take not only into the playoffs, but through the rounds of the playoffs. So, you know, not a driver you want to see get momentum or an advantage in points.
Daniel Hamrick still looking for that first career win. Most points, though, of those that have not won yet. Doubleheader taking place from here at Pocono as once again Austin Cindric sees checkered flag. 6 races here at Pocono for the Xfinity Series, and he's the 6th different winner that has been able to get to victory lane in the Xfinity Series. Austin Cindric gets the win. And this is the first race of our doubleheader here on NBCSN.